Okay, that was weird. Greetings and salutations, viewers. I'm StarPrincessHLC, and welcome to Asagao Academy, I believe it's called. This is a visual novel dating sim with a bit of a twist, as you can tell. Yes, we have a bunch of YouTubers here, from normal bots like JonTron, Peanut Butter Gamer, Gerard the Completionist. I forget which one you're from, but Pro Jared, Satch. But yeah, a lot of YouTubers are in this game, and they actually do some voices for their characters. Oh my god, it's opening like a really corny anime. But I guess the whole goal of it is we are going to be trying to date one of those YouTubers. But really catchy music. Also, I believe Peanut Butter Gamer's wife also worked on this, so that's pretty neat. But I'm really digging this opening. I might have to go back and listen to that music by myself without my commentary over it. That was kind of cool. It looks really cutesy and silly. I like the animation art.
Academy, Normal Boots Club.
I think that was Pro Jarrett. Okay. In that case, let me just... Where's my music volume here? Yeah, let's lower the music volume just a tad here. Let's turn and let's play. By the way, our main character here looks eerily like Commander Holly with that pink hair. The train made its way along the gentle curve of the coast of Japan, whisking me farther and farther from home. Which is weird, considering I'm pretty sure the bulk of the group there are not Japanese, but okay. Across from me sat a boy, face half buried in a newspaper. He was deeply entranced in whatever article he was reading, and hadn't spoken a single word to me, even when I asked if I could join him in the last compartment with any available space. He shrugged, nodded, and adjusted his newspaper without ever making eye contact. It had been almost an hour, in fact, and he hadn't once looked at me. Devoid of conversation, I took instead to counting the buttons on the previously lush cabin seat cushions. 1, 2, 3, 21, 22, and so forth over and over. I'm guessing it was a long trip, otherwise she can't count. Now and again, I turned to look out the window where the trees were blurring by. Yeah, they are quite blurry. It's almost like we're in a speeding train, moving ridiculously fast. Or we're in a rocket ship. That'd be kind of weird. Sometimes the smeared green would break and reveal the quiet blue of the Sea of Japan. I don't know, all I see is a blurry mountain. Eventually, this rapidity made my stomach churn, and I went back to counting the buttons on the seat cushions. Wow. You think she would, have, a 3DS or something to play with. Hell, pull out your phone and talk on Twitter or something. I don't know. 1, 2, 3... I guess she lost count and had to start over. The train compartment shuddered around us. My eyes wandered to the boy in his jacket. It wasn't the school-issued blue that I and the other students on the train were wearing. Instead, it was a green varsity-like jacket with an embroidered patch poorly sewn on front. Hi, Pro Jared. I think that's Pro Jared. So you're a first year then? He folded his newspaper neatly, set it in his lap, and looked at me with a half-interested gaze. Did he just catch me staring? Well, it is kind of weird that you're all sparkly like that. You're not a vampire, are you? Now that the paper was gone, I saw his face. He watched me through heavy-lidded eyes. His hair was immaculately groomed, his teeth straight and blindingly bright. There was something about him, the way the light hit him, that made him look like he was almost sparkling. He is a vampire, I knew it! Bro Jared's a vampire! Me? Your name is Hannah. Aw. He glanced around the compartment, empty beside us, and laughed. Oh. No, I'm not a first year, I'm a third year. The train began to slow, metal wheels groaning against metal tracks. The sudden shift threatened to rob me of whatever was left in my stomach, but I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, willing myself to keep it together. What kind of impression would I leave, puking on a student before I even arrived at the academy? Oh, then you'd probably get a very nasty nickname. The boy frowned. I picked at the hem of my cotton shirt. That's not possible. I've never seen you before. Ooh, touchy. It took me a moment of mouth fishing to find a response. It's because I'm a transfer student? He laughed again. A transfer student, huh? We don't get many of those. I removed my acceptance letter from the front pocket of my uniform. The paper, heavyweight, off-white, had accumulated creases from my reading and rereading, as if the words might have changed since the last time I read it. Yes, and then you look at it and it says, "You want a free trip to Disneyland?" Yes! No, that never happens. The boy took it, studied it, then handed it back to me.
I'll see you around.
Well then, Hannah, I suppose I'll be seeing you around. He smiled at me as he picked up the suitcase lying next to him. By the time I hiccuped a response, he was already gone from the compartment. I stared out into the empty hallway of the train. It was then that I realized he, having gotten it from my acceptance letter, knew my name, and I never got his. The train settled at the station, and I filed out with the rest of the uniformed students. It was early April, and the last frost of winter had come and gone. The trees were already green, their leaves shivering in the occasional gust weaving through them. The air was mild, only a few clouds hanging in the sky. I walked along the road with a swarm of blue-jacketed bodies, looking at the little groups breaking off from the crowd. Everyone was buzzing so animately around me. I held my suitcase tight in my sweaty hands. It was leather-bound and worth more than anything it contained. It wasn't far to the school, and I was, for maybe the first time in my life, thankful that what I owned didn't amount to much. My school issued black Oxfords click, click, clicked on the pavement. I walked this walk over and over in my mind. So many nights I lay awake, imagining what it would be like to walk from the train station to Asagao Academy this first time. My new start. I always imagined that everything would change for me on this walk. That somehow everything would be magically different. Maybe I'll fall in love with a YouTuber. But as I looked around, I realized nothing had changed. I hadn't changed. By the time I reached the massive gate to the academy, I forgot all about the disappointment slouching in the back of my throat. The school, framed by the gate's twisting black metal, was just as beautiful as the glossy photos I saw in its pamphlets. This was it, Asagao Academy. I glanced around. The swarm of students gathered round the gate. Beyond it, tiny blue people bounced around the academy's main building. There were Smurfs here? Cool! A girl pressed a button to one side of the gate. The excitement in the air was almost palpable. A few moments later, the black gate, with great effort, creaked outwards and cleared the pathway. As the rest of the group shifted into motion, I followed along, a sheep in the herd. My stomach tied itself into knots. The crowd split off in different directions. For a moment I panicked. Oh, hello! A tired-looking man with graying hair anyway, called out for his first years, a cluster of fresh-faced students gathering around him. Hey, look at that girl! I turned. A few feet away, a small group of boys were pointing at me and snickering. Pink hair? Are you kidding me? It works for Commander Holly, and she's awesome. How desperate can you get? Hot shame crawled down my neck. I attached myself to a group of girls, following a few steps behind them. In the distance, cicadas hummed in time to my shoes crunching against gravel. I can just hear the crickety-crickety sounds. It's beautiful. My hair. It wasn't my fault that my hair looked like this. Luckily, I found myself at the girls' dormitory. A large sign in the lawn reading, Primrose House. How could it not be your fault that your hair is pink? People don't normally have naturally pink hair. Unless maybe you're a troll. And I don't think she's a troll. So she had to have dyed it, unless she was dyeing it for a special cause or something, or a dare. Like I know in my high school, I know they had, if we raised a certain amount of money for charity, the principal got like a pink mohawk, I think. So, yeah, there's that. The building dwarfed me in size and sheer intimidation. How many students did Asagao have? As I approached the building, a red-headed girl lingering nearby caught my attention. I looked away, then looked back. She was staring at me. She walked over.
Oh, you must be my roommate!
Oh my god, there's actual talking! So far we've just had very small, intimate little things. But that's kind of interesting. I eyed her warily. She was smiling and bouncing in a way that suggested her views on life were akin to a perpetual bouncy castle. Oh, one of those types.
What?
Me?
Bingo.
Of course, you silly. Let me guess, room 325? I thought back to the paper received a month prior with a list of all supplies I needed for the year and my dorm arrangements. Yeah, that's right. She laughed, but I couldn't figure out what was so funny. Was she laughing at me? When I found out my roommate was a transfer student, I knew you were going to be a total main character. It's the pink hair, isn't it? I'm sorry. A what?
Mm-hmm.
When I saw you outside the gate, I knew it was you. I mean, look at that hair. I felt a lump forming in my throat. What was she talking about? She had been making fun of me. I hadn't spent more than 5 minutes on campus, and I was already being mocked. My hands began to tremble. Is there something wrong with my hair? Her face slackened from its amused smile to a more worried expression. Then she began to laugh again.
Oh, no. It's great. I'm sorry.
I like it when you talk for me. It's appreciative.
We're getting off on the wrong foot, aren't we? Oh, gosh. I'm Mai Sasaki. You must be Hana.
Yes, that's a nice name, Mai. I bowed my head.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you, Mai. All your school's books are waiting in our room with your welcome letter, and I read the envelope. Snoopy much? I hope you're not mad. Mai started walking towards the dorm's front doors. I followed behind like a lost puppy. Did you check at the front desk already? No, I didn't. I didn't know I was supposed to. Good. They'll offer to have a staff member give you a tour of the campus, but I can show you around. We don't get many transfer students in year 3, you know. Oh, is that your only bag? Just the one. I'm glad I brought an extra bag of stuff to decorate our room with. I started already. I hope you don't mind. There isn't any Twilight or One Direction posters in there, are there? But I did wait to string the lights. I thought we could do it together, you know. She spoke quickly, the words bubbling from her mouth, and left me no time to answer until the end of her monologue. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Hopefully they aren't ridiculously girly. She held the front door open for me, and I hurried inside. Oh God! Why are the walls pink? Why is it pink? Girls filed up and down the hallway, howling greetings and exchanging vague niceties. that were more often than not, "How was your break? And look at how tan you got." It seemed like everyone knew each other. I followed Mai as she led me through the maze of students and up 2 flights of stairs. Each dorm floor looked the same as the last. Narrow white doors lining both sides of the pale pink walls. Thin gold numbers were tacked to the front of each, the numbers rising as we climbed. It really does look really well maintained, I'll give you that. Granted, it's just an animation or drawing, whatever, but, you know, if this was actually like a real dorm, I'd be like, wow, it's really clean and nice. You're not missing anything with the campus tour, I promise. Mr. Saitomo does them every year, and he's like totally dull. He just drags you around the entire campus and talks in that weird squeaky voice of his. Oh good! I've already got a weird squeaky voice, so that's gotta work out great. I'll tell you everything you need to know. I smiled, trying to let this calm my nerves. Thanks. We headed down a hallway on the 3rd floor. Mai stopped us in front of a door number 325. Here we are, home sweet home. A faint smell of potpourri wafted through the room. The walls, like the hallway, were soft, powdery pink. I like that little bunny toy there. Also, I'm trying to look at the back there of the posters. Why do you have a guy posing in just underwear holding a teddy? Obsession, Alvin Strain. Okay. And then we got Tortured Souls. And then we got another guy posing in just a shirt and pants. Or just pants. And then we got kitties. I like the curtains. I like the mirror. But again, why would somebody just be posing in their underwear? Is he a Calvin Klein model or something? Is he like Ashton Kutcher used to be an underwear model? Maya ready to face them with a tapestry of posters, magazine cutouts, and photographs. Some of the photos were of cats, but most were of male models and rugged musicians. A bunk bed, 2 writing desks with wooden chairs, a small dresser, and a mirrored vanity, all clearly provided by the school, were the only pieces of furniture in the tiny room. Also, you want to guess who's got top bunk? You can probably tell by the fact that the bottom bunk is kind of bland in comparison. The top bunk was already covered in neatly tucked blankets and throw pillows of clashing patterns and colors. The bottom bunk had a single stiff-looking pillow and a thin cotton blanket that didn't need to touch to know was horribly itchy. So, the rooms look nice, but they don't provide much for their students in terms of bedding. I must have grimaced because Mai quickly smiled at me. I brought way too many pillows and blankets. I always overpack. I went to Italy over break, and Mom got really mad at me because I bought 5 bags, but we were only there for a week. You filled up 5 bags in a week? Damn, girl. She laughed. I pulled several blankets and pillows from her bunk and rearranged them neatly on mine. A sudden twinge of guilt and embarrassment hit me.
Perfection.
There, that's much better. Thanks, Mai. I placed my suitcase on the bottom bunk and began to unpack its contents. Several changes of clothing, pens and pencils, empty notebooks, a few photographs of my father, a dilapidated stuffed rabbit, an old portable radio, and a small black box. Mai opened the curtains and the sunlight poured in. So, where are you from? I slid the now empty suitcase under the bottom bunk. About 2 hours north of here, it's a small town called Amorisu. You probably haven't heard of it. I set the stuffed rabbit, Mr. Bunny, on my bed beside a purple and teal throw pillow. Mr. Bunny, at least Mr. Fluffy Bunny Butt sounds more interesting. Oh? Did you go to a different boarding school, or... No, I went to a public school down the street from my house. Public school? Oh my god! How do you live with yourself? What was that like? Were the students mean? Did you have a lot of friends? I always went to private schools. My parents work a lot, and my dad goes overseas, so I think they stuck me here for convenience. Well, I'm guessing they have the money, although, to be fair, Even community colleges are quite expensive in terms of tuition these days, so... Oh hey, what's that? I'd removed an ornately patterned origami crane from the black box and was setting it on the unclaimed writing desk. Oh, this? My mother made it for me a long time ago. Your mom's not dead, is she? We're gonna get a sad, sob backstory of how you're an only child with a single father who's always working? Or in the war or something? I set it beside a stack of thick textbooks, which I assume were provided for me.
Aww.
Wow, it's so pretty. I've never seen paper like that before. Oh yeah, the lights. Let me get them. Mai went to her own desk, opened the drawer, and put a long, tangled string of fairy lights. Is that a thing? Fairy lights? I thought these would look nice. Here, help me string them up. Are those the ones that are dangling above your bed, covering up the underwear model? She grabbed a container of pushpins, then pulled her wooden desk chair out and over to one wall. I did the same with my own. Together, we pinned the lights around the perimeters of the room. How was the train ride over here? Did you meet anyone? No, not really. I was in a compartment with some guy and...
What?
Some guy, huh? Was he cute? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I really wasn't paying attention. I didn't even get his name. Mai seemed disappointed for a moment, then perked back up. You'll have to point him out to me if you see him again. Okay. Shouldn't be too hard, right? I mean, how many people look like Pro Jared? Once we finished stringing the lights, Mai climbed down from her chair and brushed her hands together triumphantly.
Yeah!
Done! Okay, now it's time for lunch. The food here is pretty good. There's this ramen place down the street from campus that's like out of this world, but the school only lets us leave campus on weekends. Mai walked to the window. We could go today because it's Sunday and it's pretty nice out, but I guess you might want to go to the caf since you just got here. We could... She was suddenly interrupted by her own enthusiastic laughter. Oh my gosh, Mimi Santos totally just tripped outside and fell on her face. I saw it. Oh, is that mean to laugh? Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh well, anyways, let's go eat. I'm totally starved. She led me out of the room before I even had the chance to respond. Ooh, the cafeteria looks nice too. I love the artwork on the walls. But I've got to tell you that the kids are also, I guess, fairly well behaved since they're not, writing on the walls unless we're not seeing it. The cafeteria was buzzing with students excited for the new year. The only place as nervous looking as I felt were the tables of skittish, wide-eyed first years. I stepped into line behind Mai, taking an empty plastic tray. We shuffled through, asking for helpings from the sulky cafeteria workers when we passed something that looked good. With full trays, Mai led me straight to a table in the back where a few students were already sitting. Mai sat down and I took a seat across from her. Hi Mai, how was your break? It was good. I went to Italy and Spain. Dad fell off a ski jet and broke his ankle. Wow, it's nice that you can talk about traveling to different countries and, skiing like that. You obviously come from some bit of money, don't you?
Uh-huh.
It's better now, though. Oh, well, that's nice. I expected to be introduced, but the girl turned back to her group of friends, and Mai turned back to me. She began to assault her food with a fork and tell me in a practically minute-by-minute account about her fleeting romance last summer with a boy she met on the beach that didn't go further than a few salty kisses. So he was, a little grouchy, I don't know. I sat back and let Mai talk. For the first time since arriving on campus, I felt like I was finally able to breathe. I picked up my Brussels sprouts and studied Mai as she spoke. Oh my god, someone's willingly eating Brussels sprouts. They're actually not that bad. Some people are just like, ew. But I'm just like, they're alright if they're cooked right. The more she talked, the more I began to notice small details about her. She had a high songbird voice.
What?
She was dynamic, her face twisting this way and that into exaggerated expressions as she spoke. She laughed often. She imitated people in wildly unflattering voices, seemingly unrelated to her actual opinion of them. But most notably, she talked. A lot. I didn't find this particularly annoying as it filled the silence, and she hardly ever asked questions that required my full attention. Hey, it works for me. If you could do most of the talking, go for it, dude. Just as Mai was rounding off a shockingly detailed account of the time she accidentally walked in on her friend's older brother in the act of changing, a flash of a familiar green caught my eye. I glanced over. Hey, that's him! Huh, who? I leaned across the table to whisper, just in case he could hear me through the ambient chatter of the lunchroom. The boy from the train. That's him.
What?
Jared? Yeah, with the weird green jacket and swoopy hair. Swoopy hair? Did people actually say that? That people have swoopy hair? I kind of like that. I might have to start using that in sentences more. He just picked up his tray and was walking past us when something seemed to catch his eye. Oh, you. I looked up at him, suddenly realizing he was talking to me.
Hana.
Huh, I met you on the train. How are things settling down for you? Really well. I found my roommate and she's been helping me out. I gestured to Mai, who was thunderstruck. In fact, looking around, everyone was. People stopped eating to turn and stare at Jared and me. My shoulders bunched around my shoulders. Around my neck, I mean. My shoulders bunched around their shoulders. Can't you tell? I have double shoulders. I'm wearing shoulder pads. Well, if you ever need any help, I'll be around. Third year, right? I nodded.
All right.
Some of my friends are in that year. Of course, they can't compare to me, but I'll give them the heads up to look out for you. Oh god, is he the suave, popular jock of the group? He flashed a dazzling smile, then winked. It's the least I can do for such a cute girl. Well, I'll see you around. I watched, a torrent of thoughts raging through my head, as he took a seat next to a bunch of guys who were all wearing the same jacket. That's Jared! She tore her eyes away from him and looked at me.
He's so cute.
He's the most beautiful guy in school! Don't get your hopes up, he's a married man!
Oh, Jared.
I can't believe he just looked at me. I looked at Mai. Her cheeks were glowing an indecent pink. Why do they all wear those jackets? Aren't all the guys supposed to wear blue blazers as part of their uniform? No, they're all allowed to. They're... You know, Jared. Mimi had turned back around and was looking at me with sudden interest. Did I know him? I only talked to him on the train for a few minutes. Not really. We weren't friends or anything. But we could be more. But looking around, Mai and this girl weren't the only ones who were interested. Everybody seemed to be listening in. They seemed so surprised when he talked to me. Maybe a little white lie couldn't hurt. Nah, not really. Oh. She looked me up and down, sniffed, and turned away. Oh, God. She's getting jealous? Give me a frickin' break. But it's true, I don't know him. I'm not gonna lie just to impress a bunch of girls I don't even know. Give me a break. You shouldn't do that. Mai leaned towards me. Don't mind Mimi, she was just trying to get in with you. Yeah, that's what I figured. She was trying to get in with me so she could try and get in with Jared. I know how these girls work. Get in with me? Why? Well, you asked me about those guys and their jackets, right? Those are their normal Boots Club jackets. They're... what? What's normal Boots Club? Oh, look at them. That's a cute picture. Oh God, he's staring at himself in the mirror. How vain can you get? It's a club we have at school here. It's like totally exclusive and full of only the coolest students. They get together and play video games. Or something. Which is funny considering these days people tend not to think of video games, as cool. Growing up, if you played video games, you were the nerd. Now it seems like it's okay to be a nerd. Not like I'm complaining, but still. That one right there is John, also known as JonTron. His bird's name is Jock. His bird's a robot. He also likes to go "ich" a lot. John is also the president of the drama club here at school. Also, just as a quick aside, His version of fireworks is way better than Katy Perry's. Just saying. Next to him is PBG. And he and John founded the Normal Boots Club together. PBG is one of the best soccer players on our team. His PBG stands for Percival Buttress Percival Buttress Gale. I don't know. I don't know. It actually does stand for peanut butter Gale, but it's like, well, there's gotta be a reason why he's called that. Maybe that's his initials. Then there's Gerard. People call him the completionist because he's obsessed with completing things. He has the biggest itty-bitty kitty collection I've ever seen. He also has an amazing beard. Next to him is Jared, also known as Pro Jared. He's a model. Then there's Satchbag, but everyone calls him Satch. He's like crazy smart. Those guys over there are Paul, Nick, and Josh. They write a column in the school newspaper called Continue. Paul, the one standing up, is the student council president. And the guy on the end there is Shane. He knows more about video games than anyone. Ever. Oh, I beg to differ. I bet Matt Pat knows a lot more than him. Maybe. She exhaled a dreamy sigh into her mashed potatoes. Odd. So, how would someone, join the Normal Boots Club? You don't choose the boots, the boots choose you. These boots were made for choosing. What does that even mean? You have to be presented with the boots to be in the club, and they're like super selective. What are the boots? The club has this boots statue. It's like the one on their patches, but it's gold-plated. It's their mascot, I guess. They do this weird initiation ritual with it. Ritual? What is this, a cult? I hear they fill a room with candles and wear these totally creepy robes during initiation. This 2-year girl said she saw it once, and they were like all chanting around the boots, and it sounded like they were talking backwards. Okay. But I don't believe her, and even if it's true, I don't care if they're a cult, because they're all really hot. Yeah, it's okay if people do creepy and, questionable things, as long as they're attractive, because that means they're completely innocent. Right? Do they have a lot of friends? Yeah, tons of friends. I say they're the most popular kids in school. I mean, everyone in this school totally looks up to them. I bet they could get any girl in school, too. Or boy, for that matter. Hey, are you gonna eat your cake? I shook my head and pushed the plastic tray across the table to her. For the remainder of lunch, I listened to Mai talk about Jared through mouthfuls of half-dissolved frosting. Aw, man, now I want a piece of cake. Well, I do have cheesecake downstairs, but maybe later. Back at the dorm, I sorted through the pile of textbooks the school left for me. My radio was playing a poppy tune, equal parts music to static. Mai fervently scribbled in a notebook at her desk, hunched over it with strikingly poor posture.
Hey!
Hey, Mai?
Mm-hmm.
She didn't bother to look up. Am I supposed to have a textbook for History 309? She shuffled through the papers on her desk before producing a thick textbook. A demure man in a powdered wig frowned at me from the cover. Yeah, this one. I sighed. I don't have that one. The school must have missed it. Mai shrugged and set the textbook back in her pile. They have a bunch at the library. You can just check one out. Where's the library? Mai rifled through her notebook and wrote something down. She tore the page out and handed me a crudely drawn map. Oh. Okay, well, I'll be back in a little bit. Huh. Interesting. It took me at least 20 minutes to find the library. By the time I realized I was holding the map upside down, the sun was setting. Oh wow, that is a really nice library. It looks like something out of Beauty and the Beast. I'm just going to say that right off the bat here. The library is much larger than I expected. The walls lined from floor to ceiling with books of all sizes on rough wooden shelves. Intimidated, I headed for the front desk. A recognizably green and gray jacket was bent behind the counter. Normal boots. As normal as boots get. I briefly considered running away.
Hey,
Can I help you? Hey, Satch. Too late. Yeah. The school forgot to give me one of my textbooks. I was told I could get it here. Which one is it? The History 309 textbook? He stepped from behind the counter and motioned for me to follow. We dodged between the aisles in a comfortable silence. He seemed friendly enough. I should say something. What was his name again? Shane? Gerard? John? No, not John.
Satch.
There you go! Good job! You remembered. I gotta look him up. I don't know him very well. Huh? Oh, you work here. Of course he worked here. Oh dear, she's embarrassing herself. He chuckled, dimples appearing in his cheeks. Yeah, I'm the librarian's assistant. It's my second year and I love it. I get to help people find books that speak to them. His eyes twinkled like a kid's on Christmas. Your books are right down here. He stopped at a row of thick, dusty books. Was this all history? And pulled out the book with the powdered-wigged man I saw earlier. Thanks! He waved his hand. It was nothing. Do you need help with anything else? I wanted to make a good impression on the Normal Boots Club, but I couldn't come up with anything. No, thanks.
Copacetic.
You're welcome. As we headed back through the cavernous library, my unease melted away. We weren't talking, but just being near him felt like being wrapped in a soft blanket. Aw, that sounds adorable. I resisted the urge to snuggle up to him, especially considering you only had just met him. That's kinda creepy. We neared the front desk, stepping around a clump of studying students. As we passed, one of them shifted. Something white flew past my face. A thick piece of triangular paper lay at my feet. I bent over and picked it up. It was surprisingly heavy. There was a quarter inside of it. If I was just a hair slower, it would have hit me in the face. The students snickered, and I recognized the boys that made fun of my hair this morning among them. My heart dropped. I scanned my memory for anything I might have done to offend them, but came up with nothing. My hands started to shake. I hid it behind my back, trying to think of some way to defend myself. Why did you do that? What do you mean? We were just messing around. Are you suggesting we did it on purpose? I faltered. There was nothing I could say. I was outnumbered. They would twist my words around no matter how straightforward I was. No, sorry. One of the boys held his hand out for the paper. I inched closer to give it to him, angry at myself for being so compliant. I wish I were... A gentle warmth closed over my hand and took the paper from me. Satch examined the paper closely. I see what the problem is. Your aim would be better if you cut the corners before you folded it. He placed the paper on the table. The boy looked at him in sheer awe. Be careful, though. You almost hit her, and that would have been awful. My hands began to sweat as panic shifted through me, afraid of the response, but... Geez, we're sorry. We'll be careful next time. Wow. I guess the Normal Boots Club commands more respect than expected. Yeah, it was an accident. They apologized? Thanks, I appreciate it. He gave them a wide smile and continued off towards the aisles. I followed closely behind, my legs weak. Don't tell me they stopped because of him, simply because I was with him? I wanted to thank him, but my heart was pounding so hard I knew my voice would shake. We reached the front counter, and he scanned the history book. My lips trembled as I willed myself to say something, anything to thank him. He tilted his head to the side. What books do you like to read? Fiction? He chuckled. I just finished a good book. I think it'd be right up your alley if you don't mind me saying so. He reached under the counter, pulled out a thick green book, and passed it to me. A man in black stood on the front, hugging a woman in royal robes. It's long, but it's one of my favorites. The Princess Betrothed. I know things can be tough transferring to a new school. If you ever are worried, just read this. It'll transport you to 100 miles away in a second. Tears stung in my eyes, so I ducked my head.
Satch.
Thank you, Satch. For more than just the books. You're welcome. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think I got your name.
My name is Hana Mizuno.
I'm a transfer student.
Hana.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Hana. Let me know how you like the book. I will. Oh my god, that was so cute! That couldn't have gone better. Aw, man. But I think that's a good place to stop for now. We've been going for a while. We still haven't even gotten introduced to everybody properly yet. But we do see, like, who's in the Normal Boots Club. Pretty much everybody who's with normal boots, it seems. But this is strangely cute and interesting. I can't wait to get started on the actual, like, thing. I'm really enjoying this so far. I can't wait to see what this has in store. But for now, this is StarPrincessHLC saying thank you very much for watching and have a fond farewell.